Okay, so now what we need to do is create the USB ports here for the front. We can see if I go to the front image here, we have some USB ports right here that we need to create. We also have a Firewire port. We're going to go ahead and create the USB ports now. So I'm going to go to edge mode here real quick, and I'm going to select all of these three edges that are here. I don't need them, so I'm going to come over here to my perspective view. I'm going to go ahead and select these edges as well that are on the top, and these three on the bottom right there. I'm going to hit Control and Backspace to get rid of them, along with the unnecessary vertices. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge here and that edge right there. Let me go back to this front view here. Let me go to my quad menu. I'm going to connect, and for the moment I'm probably going to make about 2 segments and hit OK. I'm going to take this first edge that's over here. I'm going to move this just outside of the USB port like that, and move this one over here so it's kind of in between the USB port and the Firewire port. I'm going to take these 2 new edges that I have here, and I'm going to connect those 2 times as well. Okay? And I'm going to hit OK. That creates this new polygon right here, which I can then scale up so it reaches the top and the bottom of the USB ports right there. So let's take these 2 edges that are here, make sure you're in edge mode, and connect that. And with 2 segments, the connections should be nice and even. So I'll hit OK. If I go to my perspective viewport here, you can see that I now have these 3 polygons, which each represent a USB port. Okay, so let's actually create a USB port. I'll create one over here just to get started. So I'm just going to have my front view open up over here so that I can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is take this polygon here, and I'm going to inset it. About that much by default. Value of 1 looks pretty good, so I'll hit OK. And now I'm going to extrude this, hitting Shift and E to do that quickly. I'm going to push this in pretty far. About this much looks pretty good. I'm going to inset this. About this much looks pretty good. A small amount, about 0.5, something like that. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to extrude this and push it forward. I don't want it to really stick out like this too much. I don't want it to be way out here, so right here is pretty good. And what I'll do here is I'll inset this again. Inset it a little bit less. Something like this looks pretty good. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to extrude this and push it in. About this much looks pretty good. Here what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to inset this again. Hit OK. I'm going to take this edge that's over here, and I'm going to just pull it in like this. I'm going to take that new polygon, maybe scale it down just a little bit like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude it and pull it out, not outside of the hole. Somewhere about right there is pretty good. Then I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to select this edge right here in the corner, that one. I'm going to select its ring, and I'm going to go to chamfer, and I'm going to chamfer that 1 time. The default value right there actually looks pretty good, so I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to select that edge there and select its ring as well, the one on the inside, and I'm going to chamfer that as well. It's going to give me something that looks like this, which looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to select this polygon here, hold down Control, and select the edge right there in the Modify panel so I can select these edges. I'm going to chamfer this a little bit just to give this a little bit more detail. I'll give it a few segments right there, and that looks pretty good. I'll hit OK. And if I render that out, looks pretty cool. Nice little USB port. So now the trick is to reuse this geometry for the other 2. So basically what I can do is take these polygons. I don't need them, so I'm going to delete them by hitting delete on the keyboard just to punch them out. And now if I select this polygon here, I'm going to grow my selection up to about here. And at this point, I'm going to just use the move tool, hold down Shift, and move this over to the side. And that's going to ask me if I want to make a new element or object or whatever. I'll tell it to clone the object and hit OK. And I'll select this new object. I'm going to go over here to the hierarchy panel. I'm going to go to Effect Pivot Only. I'm going to tell it to center the object. And I'm going to turn on my snapping. Make sure your vertex snapping is still on. I'm going to snap that vertex there to that top corner. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of that Edit Pivot mode. I'm just going to go to Object mode here. And I'm going to select this guy and snap him right there. Then I'm going to go and hold Shift and grab him and snap another one to that corner. When the clone options pop up, just use the default settings, a copy and number of copies set to 1. I'll hit OK. And there we go. There's our USB ports. Now if I come over here to the front view, what I need to do is basically put this stuff together. So I'm going to select the main computer body, the big piece. I'm going to go to my quad menu and hit attach, and I'm going to attach this guy with this guy, okay? But it's not exactly finished yet. The vertices are not welded together, so what I need to do is basically come in here, go to vertex mode. I'm going to select all these vertices in the top and all the ones in the bottom, so basically these. And if I go to my X view and turn on open edges, I can see here that I have some open edges. So I'll simply go to my quad menu, I'll go to the weld options. The default value of 0.1 looks pretty good, so I'll hit OK, and you see all those green open edges will disappear. Alright, awesome. The Firewire port is exactly the same process as doing the USB ports, and even the same process as doing the headphone jacks. All you need to do is go into the front image, basically model out something like what we did with the USB ports to match better the shape of the Firewire port, and just get that done and incorporate it into the model using the same exact technique that I just showed you. Now, because I've already gone over this technique several times, I'm not going to be redundant and go over it again. Just review the video if you have to see how we did the USB ports. It's the same exact technique. The only difference is the Firewire port has a slightly different shape to it, but I'm sure you can handle it. So I'm going to challenge you to go ahead and take care of that on your own. I'm going to end this video here, and in the next one, we're going to continue working on our object. So I'll see you then.